Hello there. So today I want to talk about the relationship that we have with ourselves. So I would like us to hold in mind that the way we speak to ourselves is damaging at times. So if you are on your way home and you've forgotten to pick up milk or bread or whatever it is you needed on the way home, then you start attacking yourself with, well, you're just a stupid idiot and you can't remember anything and you'd forget your head if it wasn't attached to your neck, and all those horrible old slogans that you would have been taught when you were growing up. Something different, like, well, no wonder you've forgotten. It's been a really long day. It's not easy to remember everything. Processing in an empathic and accepting way where we don't attack ourselves is very important. So that's the relationship we have with ourselves. And this can be to do with anything. It can be to do with friends, work, relationships in the house. It can be to do with anything we're doing, whatever we're doing. If things start to go wrong, please, the minute you start to attack yourself, I want you to stop in your tracks and say, no, I am not going to attack myself. I am going to speak with empathy. I'm going to be accepting and loving and kind with myself. So it's really important that you speak with love and kindness and empathy towards yourself. I want you to be accepting of yourself. Develop that loving nature that you would have for others. You wouldn't, I'm sure, if somebody dropped something and broke it, you wouldn't say, well, you're just a stupid fucking idiot. We just wouldn't do it, would we? So why should we do that to ourselves? Please. Let's speak with kindness, with love to ourselves so that our confidence develops, our self-esteem grows, and we feel much better inside of ourselves. I would also like to say that if anybody else speaks to you in those ways, that you do not accept these. You do not accept anything other than respect, love, kindness, acceptance, empathy. If somebody starts tearing you down and attacking you, I want you to know that that's not okay. Now, when we're growing up, we get spoken to in lots and lots of different ways by those authority figures that raise us. Often it is a mum or a dad. It doesn't have to be though. Whoever the person is that is raising us is an authority figure. So I do this to say they're up here, the authority, and we're down here, the child. It gets set up when authority figures look directly into our face and they'll say something like, you are stupid. You are such a bad, bad child. I wish you'd never been born. Now, these are unbelievably damaging things to say to any child. And so to speak to anybody in that way is going to create a horrible dynamic between an authority figure and the child, no matter what age we are. So if your critic is harsh like that with you, then you're going to feel just as you did when you were little. And once we start to realise what's going on, it's very, very useful. So I'm going to take this a little bit further now and introduce you to the ego states, because this might be a very helpful system for you to use when you are out and about or relating with others, say at home or at work or wherever. So this comes from transactional analysis, which was originally created by Eric Berne a very long time ago. He suggested that we all have inside of us the capacity to be in our parent or in our adult or in our child ego states. It's very simple. It's very simple, but it's also really clever and very complex, and this can go deep. So if you imagine 3 circles, this is how he did it. He did 3 circles stacked, 1, 2, 3. Parent, adult, child. Okay? And then if you think about everybody around you also having a parent, an adult and a child. And at any given moment, we can all function from, speak from, behave from any of these ego states. We can be in our parent and speak down to the child of the other. Or we could be in our adult and we speak in the here and now in a very sort of factual, kind of robotic, to be honest, way, in the here and now, adult to adult. And that keeps everyone in an okay place. The minute someone starts speaking down to, from the parent to the child, in a derogatory way, the child of the person is gonna feel like shit. Imagine, let's just think up something for a minute. Okay, imagine, so I'm in a restaurant and I'm on a date with a new person. And I'm doing my very best. I've got my nice clothes on and I've made sure my hair is nice. All of that stuff. I've turned up for the date and we're sitting together face to face and we're about to order food. Now just imagine for a moment that this guy has taken me to a Greek restaurant and he is very fluent in Greek language and the menu. He loves Greek food, so he's an expert, and I am not. And imagine then if he's looking at the menu and he's going, well, I'm going to have blah 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 and blah 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 and this and that, and I think I'd like this wine. What about you? And I look at the menu, which is in Greek, and think, I haven't got a clue. What do I order? I don't know what I like. I don't know what I want. And then I look to him and I look from adult to adult and say, do you know, I've never been to a Greek restaurant before. I don't know much about Greek food. I'm wondering if you could help me decide what I'd like, if I tell you, the kind of thing I like. Now, in his adult, he could hopefully say, of course, no problem. Please let me help. I'd love to help. I want to introduce you to Greek food because I love it and maybe you will too. Now there is a lovely adult to adult interaction. Now just imagine for a moment if he had looked at me with disdain and slowly put himself up into his parent and looked down at my child as naive, ignorant, stupid. Why doesn't she know anything about Greek food, for goodness sake? Something horribly patronising like that. So he's in his parent looking down at my child who suddenly is not good enough. This could go horribly wrong. And in fact, the moment he started to do this, and that kind of, God, she doesn't even know anything about Greek food. Who is this person? The minute someone starts to do that to us, that's it. We're fucked. The whole relationship is fucked. In fact, at that point, I suggest you put your serviette down, you gather up your bag and whatever you've got and say, thank you very much, goodbye, and walk, and keep walking. And even if he chases after you and wants you back, keep walking. Don't look back. Don't get into any more conversation with that person, because this is a window in to how bad things are going to be in the future. So, going back to the Greek restaurant and the date that I was on, not really, of course. The parent ego state, if you can imagine it, it's split in two. So one side of it is the nurturing or caring parent, and the other side is the critical parent. So we've got a nurturing side and a critical side. And the adult stays complete and whole. And then the child ego state is again split in two. And we've got a free child and an adapted child, or a conditioned child. Now, when somebody is in adult to adult meeting as they are in the moment, very much in the present, and with all the sort of sophisticated ways of being that we can have, of caring and being empathic and responding and all of that, that's wonderful. Now, I mentioned the fantasy guy on the Greek date. He slowly slid up into his critical parent and looked down at my adapted child. He sort of sneered. That's the way I would imagine this going. So his critical parent looked down at my child and sneered at her as not good enough. Why am I out on a date with someone like you who doesn't even know about Greek food? Now, my child would respond to the critical parent in him very, very quickly, because the minute we sense another going into their parent, our energy fills up in the child part of us. We lose sense of the parent in us and the adultness in us. We go into our child very quickly, because this was set up in childhood for us very quickly. And in our childhood, we're bound to have met people who could be nurturing and critical. They might be more of one than the other, or they might equally be similar, amounts of nurturing or critical. Or they might be incredibly critical with hardly any nurturing available. And this is very, very painful for a child. So no matter what age we are, when we're, in the midst of one of these kind of dynamics where the other's in the parent and we sink into our child, we're going to be reliving exactly how we felt when we were little ourselves, no matter what age we are. Even if we're 95 years old, we're still going to have that capacity to go into a very young child ego state in us, because that's how it was set up when we were little. Now, lots of things can happen in a dynamic with adults, with humans. Imagine, we'll keep with that Greek restaurant thing. Imagine if there we were, adult to adult, and I was appealing to his good nature to say, could you help me with the menu, because I don't speak Greek, can't read Greek. And he went into his parent, and he went into his nurturing parent and said, absolutely no problem, I would love to help you. I really want you to enjoy your evening. And I'm going to take good care of you and help you with the menu. What kind of food do you usually like? So there's a lovely nurturing parent response. And my adapted child's just going to purr and be so happy and just love this. Okay, that's going really well. It's complementary. Now, if he went into his critical parent and started sneering at me, imagine if I also went up into my parent. Now, we don't all have this capacity. We're going to go to the place we know best. We're going to go to the familiar place. and often it is down into our child when another is in their parent. But sometimes it's possible for us to also go into our parent, and there could be quite a slamming match. So critical parent meets critical parent, and there's going to be quite a fight, quite a blow up. So lots of things can happen within these ego states, between people, and lots of things can happen in our own set of ego states all alone. And so when I hear my critical parent, having a go at me saying, "You look awful in that blouse," and my child could fall apart. So the way we speak to ourselves is very important, and to figure out quite quickly what's going on with the ego states is really useful. So when we know our critical parent is in action, our adapted child is likely to respond. It's like, oh my God, I'm not good enough, I'm just going to have to give this up. Can't do this. If we can find a way to say, hang on a minute, hang on, it's not true. This is my critical parent, this is my inner critic from the past, speaking to me today. This is not true, this is not helpful. So we've got into our adult instead, and we're managing to deal with the dynamic that's going on inside. The critical parent is trying to shut down the child. But if the adult part of us can step in with, hang on a minute, just hang on. This isn't the case. You know, we don't have to do it this way. We don't have to be attacking. We don't have to be diminished and fall apart at the seams. Let's just push through this and get the job done, because we're very capable here. I know I'm very capable, very qualified and very able to share information and, you know, teach. And that will help take away the energy from the parent, the inner critic, and from the child. So all the energy goes into the adult so that I can speak with myself as an adult. It's like, whoa, hang on a minute, this is not true. Calm down. Let's just keep the same blouse on. Let's just leave the lights, because we know we need lighting when we're filming, and let's just get on with the job. So that's a way of managing our inner critic, by talking with ourselves in this way. Not throwing in the towel and falling apart in a heap, crying and giving up and never coming back. I'm hoping that this is useful for you. I love this model. It's a really useful way of figuring out what's going on quite quickly between me and others, and also what's happening inside of me, intrapsychically, as we call it. And I would like us to really get into this in quite a big way and have quite a conversation about this. Tell us about the events that you've had where people have attacked you from their parent, and the response that you've had probably from your child. Or they've maybe nurtured you because it's been a very tricky situation and their nurturing parent has come out to take care of the child in you. Now, I might make another video to add to this, because actually the critical parent and the nurturing parent can also be divided into positive and negative. For example, the nurturing parent could be a bit of a smother mother type person, where they smother you and do everything for you and stay there darling, I'll get you the remote control, I'll bring you your dinner, just stay there, don't do anything, I will do it all for you. And they smother the child. Even the child might be 40 or 50, but they will smother that person with the smother mother in the nurturing side of them. Or it could be a different kind of nurturing, which is you can see that somebody's come in, you know, your beloved has come in from work, they've had a hard day, they've got a bit of a headache, and you stand beside them and you rub their back and say, can I get you a cup of tea? Would you like a hug? That is a nice nurturing parent response to somebody in need. So the child also can be divided down as well, and we haven't even talked about the free child yet. So this is quite a big topic, there's lots to share, and I'm wondering if you would like to know more, because we can do more, we can really get into this, and there's more things that I could share about human relationships and human, the dynamic between humans, and also, you know, what goes on relationally with humans. We can really get into this in quite a big way. So you might be interested in this, and I enjoy sharing information, and I'm hoping that this is helping you. So I'll probably make more videos on this, but let's talk in the group. Let's talk. Get those ego states in your journal and start thinking about how you relate to yourself between your between your child and your parent. Are you harsh? Are you kind? Are you warm? Are you nurturing? And also how you tend to be treated by individuals from either their adult, their parent, or their child, and what happens in you as you are relating back and forth. So I'd love to hear about this. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. I want to know all about it, everything. Don't hold back. Please share in the group, and we can take this further and we can really dig deep into this. Okay, nice to be here again, and I'm glad I managed to keep the blouse on, and I'll see you in the group.